my name is Madison and this is my demonstration speech. Every time I walk in the house and smell the delicious sauce and cheese, I'm always excited for what my mom has made for dinner. Since I was little, my mom has always made her original Orsini lasagna recipe. The noodles were always my favorite, especially when there were leftovers. Cooking is a fun thing for family and friends to do together, and with lasagna, everyone could do it and help make it. Lasagna is also a dish that some think is impossible to do in their own kitchen, but that's false. My mom has made her homemade lasagna recipe as long as I can remember, and she just recently taught me how to make it myself. The lasagna recipe is easy to follow when reading directions, and it's easy to make in your own kitchen. Today I will show you how easy the steps are to make lasagna, first by showing you the materials, secondly by showing you the supplies, and then lastly by sharing the recipe. So first, we start off with 1 box of lasagna noodles, and then you have 2 jars of sauce. You're gonna get 1.5 pounds of cottage cheese. You're gonna get around 1/2 pound of ricotta cheese. You're gonna only need 2 eggs, 2 bags of shredded cheese, salt and pepper, parsley, and then when we go to our materials, we're going to need a pot to boil the noodles in the water, a pan to put in your meat, a bowl to mix up the cheese, and a pan to put all the food in at the end to make the lasagna. So I already cooked the lasagna noodles and boiled them to save time, and I also grounded up the beef along with sausage and cooked that with the sauce to also save time. So we're gonna start with the cheese. So after you do the noodles and the meat with the cheese, you're gonna put in the whole thing of cottage cheese. So it's a whole 1.5 pounds. You're gonna just put the entire thing in there. And then, after you put that in there, you're gonna add around 3 to 4 large scoops of the ricotta cheese, but not all of it. Okay, and then after 3 or 4 big scoops of that, you're gonna add a whole bag of cheese. I like to use the 6 cheese Italian since it has different kinds of cheeses in it, but you could use whatever is your favorite cheese. And then you're gonna put the entire bag in there. And then you're also going to add the 2 eggs. With the eggs, they usually help with keeping everything more together, so that's the main purpose of the eggs. Okay, and then you will mix it all together. And then also, while you're mixing it, you're gonna wanna add salt and pepper along with the parsley. And then you kind of just put in as much as you would like. It's whatever your preference is. And then mix it more. Okay, and then once you mix the cheese, you are ready to put most of the lasagna ingredients together. So we're gonna come over here, and then with lasagna, you wanna start with meat on the bottom, and then cheese, and then the noodles. So I already have the meat here. So what I'm gonna do is just layer the bottom with meat of the pan. Kind of just spread that throughout. There we go. Maybe a little less. Okay. Okay. And then after the meat, you want to put the noodles, and then with the noodles, you're just going to take them in the strips like this and lay them right across. And you're going to use 3 noodles to lay them across. Just like that. And then you just add the cheese and a layer of cheese. Okay. And then you repeat the process and you add meat on top of the cheese. Spread that. And then you're going to lay 3 more noodles across. And then add another layer of cheese. Okay, and then what my mom likes to do on the top is add an extra noodle, since when you do put the lasagna in, the top noodle usually gets a little more crispy, or I guess you could say more on the burnt side. So we like to put double noodles just so the top, we could take that off at the end, and underneath that it will be a pretty good cooked lasagna. And then after you layer everything on, you're gonna put it into the oven. But before you put it in the oven, you gotta make sure you put some tin foil around the top. So after you secure this with tin foil, you're gonna put it in the oven for 350 degrees for around an hour, hour and a half. And then after that, you take it out and you gotta make sure you let it sit for around 15 minutes before you let it cook. And then it's ready to serve. And then today, I explained to you how easy the steps were to make homemade lasagna from the Orsini recipe. And then with the ingredients inside, you could kind of use whichever sauce is your favorite or what cheese is your favorite. It's kind of more up to your preference. Well, after finishing up and finally showing you and explaining all the directions, I hope that you could easily make a homemade lasagna at your own home.